J. So thanks for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe. So the title of today's talk of this video news letter is how to control the final outcome of anything and everything. Okay, have you wondered about how you may impact or consider the final outcome of anything and everything in your life? I'm going to say things to you very quickly. So one of the four things you must do to know the final outcome, and this has been proven and tested. You have to see, number one. Number two, you have to know what you have seen. Number three, you have to consider what you now know. And then number four, then you'd understand what you've seen, you know, what you considered, and you now understand. If you do these four things, you can control the final outcome of anything. Okay. So I'll give you an example to make it real life. Imagine a hockey game between two teams, Canada versus Russia. So there's a finite number of players on both teams. There's a finite time for the game to be played in. The rules of the hockey game are well known. There are spectators who bought tickets to watch the game, and this is the final game for the championship between Canada and Russia. So one of the things that both teams would do to affect the final outcome, they would watch perhaps the other team's video, and secondly, um, they would know what they've watched because they would think about it and consider their moves, so they can have a counter move, and they would understand each player, their skills, their strength, and what they can bring to the table. They would understand the rules of the game, which everyone knows. They would understand um, the the number of players to be on each team. So when you think about this hockey game, the final outcome was Canada won 12-11. Okay, actually, yes. So Canada won 12-11 um, because they have taken on board all of these factors to arrive at that game. But when you see the final outcome of the game, 12-11, Canada winning versus Russia, you need to understand all of the things that have gone in the background to get to that point. So I hope that's been understood, keeping in line with the theme, pun intended. Right, so let me explain and break down these words for you by the dictionary meanings to help you fully understand what I mean. So what does an outcome? An outcome is basically, an outcome is the final result of something or the way things end up. It's a noun, like when the team wins a game 12-11, as I've just described. It's also the way things turn out. It's a consequence. Okay, so an outcome is really it's one of the possible results in a probability, i.e., the likelihood of anything, of an experiment. You can define an outcome as the outcome of an activity, process, or situation, and the situation that exists at the end. Think about that game analogy I just made, the final outcome, the final product, or the end result. Okay, so I want to introduce you to a new word, may. So may is something that may indicate it's a modal verb. It may indicate it's used to indicate a base form of a verb. So you may use may to indicate that something will possibly happen or be true in the future, but you cannot be certain. We don't know who may win this game at the start, but each team, Canada hockey team, Russia's hockey team, they've gone through the process and they have a hope that they may win this game by understanding all the steps I gave before. Another word to bring to your understanding is to see. We see with our eyes. So you can see me now. You see me on this video talking to you, right? So when you see something, you confirm that it's true, it exists, and you do realize by observing with your eyes that it's true, and it does exist. Like when you see someone, you go to visit them or meet with them. When you see something or see someone means or see something happen, you understand what they mean or understand why it happened. You can see an entertainment play, a film, a concert, a sports game. You watch it with your eyes. Okay, so when you watch what you've seen, you then know. Okay, you now know what you have seen, correct? Okay, so I would like to explain what to consider is, which is the third point. To consider something is to typically to think about it before making a decision. Okay, it's past tense. You considered. You look at what you're watching, what you've seen, and try to understand it. Okay. One of the synonyms on sin is you can regard, account, and that's way of considering. To interpret, as the term is usually understood, to interpret what you have seen and what you know, to give you an understanding. Understanding is another word, finally, to bring into your comprehension, is to have the power of comprehension, to basically achieve a grasp of nature, significance, or explanation of. Understanding comes from seeing, from knowing, and from thinking, considering. So when you come to an understanding of the other players, the rules of the game, the spectators, the time limits, and all of that stuff, then you can really affect, impact on the final outcome that you want it to be. And as I always teach, start from the end in mind. So know the final outcome that you want, your desire, and then work your way backwards to consider and know and see, so you can get that full perspective of that final outcome. And that comes with understanding. And this can also be used in interpersonal relationships. To understand someone means to know how they feel and why they behave in the way that they do. People usually say, it would be nice to have someone who really understood me. So I want you to reflect and think back of this talk today. And I hope I've been able to help you to impact and affect your final outcome by seeing, knowing what you've seen, considering or thinking about what you now know, and having a full understanding so you can get to the final outcome. And that's my message for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Memfis J on the Memfis J Motivationals. We're live on Rumble and YouTube. Do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.